Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to another day on planet Earth. And last night I was contemplating stability and remaining centered and calm as you go about your daily activities. And I had a little realization about one of the tools that really helps me to get into and stay in that space because, we're interacting in a world that has been and sort of still is to some degree designed to destabilize us, to take us out of our center and away from the deeper version of who we truly are. Um, because, one of the core aspects of being here is to expand and to grow and to evolve. And some might think that evolution is sort of expanded out from self, but really that expansion is an inner journey that takes you deeper within, that helps you to expand further outside of yourself. And it's a paradox of, uh, growth and development and maybe purpose for why we're here, which is to realign with the depth of who we are, stabilize into that, and from that space expand our consciousness out in all directions, as sort of far and wide as we can. And as we expand that consciousness from that center point, we help and support others to find themselves, to realign to the depth of who they are, and then start that journey of expanding themselves out in the world. And of course, that journey echoes throughout humanity to help everyone to step into the most beautiful, amazing version of who they truly are. Now, part of this journey is obviously to help heal and overcome and move through any destabilization that has occurred in our lives. And I think to some degree, because we've been distracted from, aligning with the depth of who we are, all sorts of things happen to help us to realign. And I think to some degree, illness, certainly in my life, has often appeared to help me to realign back into who I truly am, and to find that path back into the soul self. And I've been very grateful for the things that have appeared in my life to help me to do that. And I think from even a day-to-day basis, the universe is trying to support us to do that. So sometimes, we might think that when we bump up against something, when something becomes hard or difficult, that, maybe that's not the path to follow. Sometimes it is the path to follow because you need to overcome that hurdle or that obstacle. And I think the telling point is overcoming that obstacle going to help me to align further or back into myself, or is it going to be a distraction or push me sort of outside of myself? So some hurdles are, positive, as in they're going to help you to realign, and some hurdles may not necessarily be that way, and we need to take a slightly different path. Obviously, being centered and stable and as aligned as possible is going to give you the clear indication as to um, what it's asking you to do. But I think one of the things for me when I notice or recognize that I am destabilized, that I'm not in my center point, is that I utilize frequencies to help bring me back, and help me to realign. And there's a whole range of frequencies that I use to help me to come back into that place. There are frequencies I use for meditative practices. There are frequencies I use to help me to fall asleep on those times when I'm finding it difficult to sleep. But more importantly, there are frequencies and frequency recipes that I utilize to just help my whole body, whether that's my nervous system or emotional system or physical system, just to come back into a stable, calm, centered state. And it can be incredibly helpful, especially when you're busy and you're going about your day-to-day activities and you're doing the things that you have to do, whether that's picking the kids up from school, whether it's, helping them to go to school, whether it's seeing clients, whether it's doing your job and rushing around in the busyness of our job. And sometimes we don't necessarily have time to maybe stop and meditate and bring ourselves back into, a form of alignment or stability, because we've got deadlines and we've got things we have to do, and life does what life does. So when that happens, I tend to utilize frequencies almost like in the background to help bring my body into a stable state, even as I'm doing the busyness of life. For example, if I'm rushing to pick my daughter up from school because I'm running late or whatever, and there's this urgency, then I'll put frequencies on in the car that just play. So rather than listen to the radio or get distracted by conversations, I'll put on a frequency that helps me just to settle and calm and come back into a stable state. And also just during the day, if I'm working here at my computer, and I'll put my bone conducting headphones on, and I'll put one of the frequencies on that sort of just plays gently in the background. And I just see such an incredible benefit when I do that, and it's subtle and it's playing in the background, and I don't necessarily have to meditate. I mean, obviously, if you can, fantastic. That's one of the great tools. Or just go for a walk, or change your position, and there's all sorts of things you can do. But sometimes those things can add more pressure. If you're already under time constraints. And it's interesting, I've just come back from holiday this week, and this week's a little bit crazy because there's lots to catch up with, and lots of people want to, speak to me and interact, and it's all beautiful and wonderful, but it's a busy week. And yesterday I was starting to feel a bit of destabilization because of the busyness, and that's when I remembered frequencies. It's kind of funny how you play with these things and are passionate about all sorts of healing tools and things, and then right at the crucial moment you need it, you forget it, which I think is kind of funny, right? Um, so, so then after obviously remembering, it's like, okay, there's still a great tool I've got that I can use even in the middle of busyness, even as I'm interacting and doing the things that, I need to do. And I think that's kind of super cool. So I want to help you guys out. I want to help you out with this. And I put together a download on 5 powerful healing frequencies and how to use them. This is the beautiful PDF document that I put together, and it talks about, all sorts of things, clearing emotions and nervous system, and heart openers, and all sorts of cool things, intuition amplifiers, and just frequencies that can support and assist. And these are frequencies you can use with yourself or with clients, for example, and they can be really beneficial and helpful. And leading up to my frequency medicine workshop that I've got coming up on the 10th of May for Australia and New Zealand, 9th of May for North America and Europe. I just thought I'd offer that to you if you'd like to get a copy of that. If you'd like to get a copy of that, just type frequency below. So type frequency in the comments, and I will get you a copy of that. And yeah, I've got a whole lot of frequencies that go along with that, which I'm going to put up in Quantum Gateway that you can come across and download, that go along with the PDF, with the downloadable document. So first thing though, please type into the comments if you'd like to get a copy of my frequency guide, the 5 powerful healing frequencies and how to use them. Please type frequency below, and I'll make sure you get a copy of it. And then I'll share how you can get copies of the actual frequencies themselves, because the way we put frequencies together is in what we call a frequency recipe. So we don't really ever play a frequency just on its own. We always mix it with harmonics and octaves and chords and all sorts of stuff. So just to amplify that frequency and to help it to really enter into your body, even at a cellular or atomic level, to help stabilize, the whole of your being, or the aspect of what the frequency is trying to help you to stabilize. And it becomes super, super powerful. So love to share those with you as well. But first, if you'd like to get a copy of the downloadable, please type frequency below, and I'll make sure you get a copy. And you too can use beautiful frequencies that can help you to stay centered, stay calm, stay focused, and help you to stay more stable as you go about your day-to-day activities and the busyness and sometimes craziness of life. And just, something that doesn't interfere with what you're doing and with life, just going to add to and support you as you go about your day-to-day activities. So love to share that with you. Please type frequency below and I will get you a copy. We'll get you a copy, and I look forward to you having some fun with that. And stay tuned, lots more exciting things like this coming. So, all right, I hope that helps. Please type frequency below if you'd like to get a copy. And thank you so much for being here in Heart of the Matrix and being present. And here's to helping you to stabilize and step into the fullness of who you are and express that on this beautiful, amazing planet. All right, have a beautiful day. Don't forget, you are absolutely lovable, you are absolutely worthy, and it is time. And I'll see you really, really soon. All right, ciao.